Well, hi everyone. It's definitely not easy to get up here, having not finished. But what I realized is that it'd be a lot harder to not be here and not get up here. This year was pretty awesome on the trail. It just reminded me of how much the Quest really is a big family. The volunteers, the handlers. It was just amazing to see everybody out there on the trail, and everyone supports each other, and it really is my family these days. So it's pretty awesome. Dogs definitely didn't let me down. Sure, if anything, I let them down for not managing them properly, but they're good. They're at home and they're happy, and we're moving on this season. Not finishing doesn't change the fact that there were amazing people that helped us all season, and so I have to thank all of you. Some awesome sponsors: Clear Alaskan Glacial, Sullivan Steakhouse in Anchorage, T-Rose Vet Service, Lulu's, Horse Expediting, the Woodland Wellness Center, Ursa Major Distillery, Delta Power Sports, Algival, Man-Mat, and Skirion Headlamps, all amazing supporters. But even more than that, the friends that have helped us this year have been awesome. We've got Rose Hewitt was one of our handlers on the road, Matt Cameron, Kate Yeske. They were going to help us when I got to this side, and they helped us in Copper Basin and drop bags and everything else. Natalie Menacci and Pat, they helped us watch the dogs at home while we were on the trail. Tamara Rose is always there as a vet if we ever need anything, and is an amazing friend. Josh Mason, he was on the logistics, but he also came up and helped us for 2 months this fall. Anything we needed, the man's amazing. Josh Horst, awesome. Brent and the Wild and Free gang, were so amazing this fall helping us out. And Joe Hardenbrook, awesome food on the trail, not only at Circle, which I didn't get to taste, but in my drop bags the whole way, luckily. And just all of our dog sponsors and friends. I'm sure I missed a million people. We just couldn't do it without you all, and I just sure appreciate it. So thank you, and good job, all of you that have finished. I'm proud of you all.
Okay, so our 16th place finisher, Rob Cook.
So what a race, and what an amazing trail. I've really got to say, we always thank the Canadian Rangers for the fantastic job that they put in on the trail on the Canada side. But this year, the trail on the Alaska side was absolutely amazing. And I've really got to say a huge thank you to Mike Wrights and his team for putting in that trail. It was absolutely awesome. For those of you who don't know, the Yukon River was pretty challenging in places, and from 30 miles out of Circle, the jumble ice was pretty unbelievable. I don't think I've ever sworn quite so much at water as I did in that period, and in particular from 30 miles to 20 miles, it was just unbelievable trying to navigate through that. I just couldn't believe just that I could get a dog team through it, let alone that somebody had gone through ahead of us with snow machines and put in such a fantastic trail. As I came off the river, quite relieved, into Circle, Mike was actually sat on the snow machine on the riverbank. And I said to him, "Thanks, Mike, that was an amazing trail." And he looked at me like I was completely mad, but I really meant it. He did such a fantastic job, so thanks very much, Mike and his team, for the trail they put in. I'd also like to say a huge congratulations to Brent on being our new champion. Alan has been a fantastic champion. Alan and Ali are really good ambassadors for the breed, but I think we all need a bit of wild and free, so congratulations, Brent, on being a new champion. Apparently at the start banquet, I went on a bit and I thanked everybody in the world. So if you weren't at that speech, it really was a fantastic speech, and you missed quite something. If you were at the start banquet and you heard it, I'm really sorry, but there you go. I didn't quite thank everybody at the start banquet. So I'd like to thank the communities who open up their doors to us, who host the checkpoints, and who make this race possible. All the checkpoints are absolutely fantastic, and the communities who support those checkpoints, you're unbelievable, you really are. I'd like to single out three particular areas which they're not actually recognised as checkpoints, but they give fantastic support to this race. And that's Carol and Jim at Stepping Stone. If it hadn't been for the support I got there, I'd have scratched from the race pretty early on. Earl and Sandy at 40 Mile, they opened up their hut, their cabin this year to us. There was food there for us. They opened up their bedroom was available to all the mushers. And while I slept, they took all my gear and actually dried it, so I had perfectly dry gear when I left. And also to Mike Sager, who opened up his cabin on Trout Creek. It really, you just can't express how much these people actually help us get down the trail. On a personal front, I'd like to thank Dave and Carol Williams at Salzaka Siberians and Hugh and Judy Wacker at Cenobinus Siberians in the UK, who have offered us huge amounts of support. Louise at dogbooties.com, who's here tonight. She gives a lot of support to a lot of the mushers, but she's also one of the sponsors now for the Yukon Quest as well. Headlights, Samnushka Designs, Fourth Shoot Sewing, Trail Babies and Muck Tuck. All the dog sponsors who come on board and help us. We couldn't run this race without the support we get from the dog sponsors. From Chris, who's come across from the UK, he said he was coming across on holiday to be our handler. I think the fact he used the word holiday and handler in the same sentence really revealed that he didn't understand what the Yukon Quest was. Despite the fact that I've fired him now 6 times since he got over here from the UK, he's still here with us, which either says something about my poor management or his perseverance. So, Chris, you've been the best handler we could have asked for, so thanks very much. To my absolutely amazing wife who handled for me again this year. She's not only put up with Valentine's Day on the trail, it was also her birthday on the 19th of February, which I kind of forgot. She's been pretty sick for the last 4 days, and she's actually still managed to get herself to all the checkpoints. And I actually revealed to her tonight that despite everything I've said over the previous week, I'm probably going to sign up again next year, and she still hasn't killed me. So that's what a wife. And finally, I'd just like to thank all the dogs who started with me, and in particular, my main leader, Maddie, who ran 500 miles in lead from Scroggy through until 101, and the large portion of that in single lead. And it just shows just how amazing all our dogs are, and what an amazing race the Yukon Quest is. So thanks very much.
In 15th place, Kristen Knight Pace.
Oh my goodness, what a dream that was. I know it sounds kind of crazy to say because there were some definitely hellish parts of the trail, but we made it right through. I don't even know. I don't have anything prepared at all. I guess I'll thank all the people that helped us get started in this. Like, I'll never forget Andy and I showing up at Paige and Cody's in Eureka with 5 sled dogs. And then, 3 years later, we have 29. So I guess Paige and Cody and Brent and Jeff and Mike Williams Jr., the people who helped us start our kennel, thank you so much for believing in us, even though we were total nobodies. You guys put your faith in us and helped us get started with just the most amazing dogs. My family who's here, oh my goodness, my parents came and traveled this whole entire race with us. My brother Jared was in the dog truck for the entire thing. They came all the way from Texas, which is just insane. My sister-in-law Lindsay, my wonderful friend Mandy Nauman, who even though she was sick as a dog, still stayed in that truck. And then my husband, Andy, who I will repay you for this next year. He's going to get to see this incredible trail next year. I'm so, so jealous. I mean, just even thinking about not getting to roll into Stepping Stone next year makes me want to cry. But yeah, this whole entire thing has just been like a dream. And yeah, and Lance and Ryan, you know, traveling with you two was so much fun. There were so many times I had to remind myself, like, this is supposed to be this arduous, grueling race. You know, like, and we're all laughing all the time, you know, like laughing in the checkpoints, and Ryan and I are sitting beside a crackling fire laughing, eating gooey cheesecake with our bare hands that have been touching raw meat and poop-covered dog booties. And then, you know, our wonderful sponsors, Man Mat, Orion's Belt, Denali Mountain Works, all of our dog sponsors, just been amazing. And last but not least, my dogs, Solo and Littlehead, running in lead solo for maybe 900 miles. Littlehead, my littlest dog, barely 40 pounds, pulling my team of big old 70-pound boys right up and over Eagle Summit like it was no sweat. And then my wheel dogs, Haas and Bullock. I'm sure every musher here would thank their wheel dogs for getting them through that jumble ice. Wow, those dogs had to be on top of it. And, and those two were puppies from the first litter we ever had. And having those two look back at me and trust me to get them through this course safely, and, you know, going from seeing them being born to pulling my sled 1,000 miles, there's nothing more gratifying than that. So thank you guys all so much for being here, and wow, I just don't even know what else to say.
In 14th place, Lance Mackey.
Thank you. Very good job. All right, just like my race, I'm going to take a few minutes here. I opened up this book on the table and I was like, 12 days? 12 days? I didn't even take 12 days when I was a rookie. I must have had some fun. It was great. I had the funnest quest of my 8 times ever, and it was something I'll never forget. And I would recommend everybody in this room try at least once. It was a great time. I had a blast. Obviously, the first part of the race was a little bit challenging with the cold weather, and you know, I'm kind of beat up, so I was whining a little bit and not sure why I was out here doing this in the first place. I've done it several times at 50 below, but after I snapped out of it and got to, you know, run around Kristen and her smiling face the whole time, you know, nothing ever got to this girl, you know. No, it was nice, and you know, she's sharing her cheesecake and telling cool stories and stuff. It was fun. I had a blast. But the one thing that I've been fortunate enough to be at the front of this pack several times, and you know, there's a certain sense of adrenaline and professionalism and whatnot that everybody puts out. The checkpoint personnel, the vets, the officials, and I appreciate seeing that same level of professionalism, enthusiasm, and courtesy and respect at the back for the rookies, myself, and I thought that was just something, again, that everybody that's involved with this race needs to be aware of. You know, I've seen it at the front, and I didn't know, you know, I don't know if I expected to see it at the back or not, but when I did, I was very pleased to see that same level of courtesy and the vet care and the checkpoint personnel and the people that were feeding me. They got a little bit irritated with me. They're like, you know, Earl and Sandy outside of Dawson, they said, Lance, you got to go. We can't afford to feed you anymore. And I just came off my 24. I ran 50 miles and spent 18 more hours there. Imagine how much I ate, you know. So I really do. I got to thank everybody for being so professional, even for the people at the back. That was really nice to see. There's 3 or 4 people that I definitely, I don't even know the right words. Thank you's not enough. And Pato, Raylin, Lockie, you guys made my life so much easier. And, you know, the dogs that you train, the kennel approach, the love of the dogs, you know. That's something that every team and every kennel owner wants. I'm proud to have you guys represent my kennel. Thank you, all of you. That means a hell of a lot to me, and I've been a little bit out of the loop here lately and dealing with some different issues that took away from my dogs, and you guys have definitely stepped up and made that little bear spot acceptable for me, and that's huge. It's the only reason I'm here tonight. Honest to God, you guys made it all worth it, and thank you. I'm deeply in debt to all of you. Della, you as well. You know, you turned my life around for the better, and you know, on top of the paper trail that you had to deal with, you got to deal with me, and that's a tough job. So, good on you. I'm going to take a few minutes here. I earned this one. You know, I had some personal sponsors stuck with me and been loyal from the day I started racing. And the people at Canada Goose back in Toronto, they've not only stood by me, but they've upped their support not only for the race, for my kennel. I see a lot of people wearing Canada Goose now, and that, you know, I was a big part of that, and I'm pretty proud of that. But I want to thank the people that have kind of stepped away to make room for new sponsors. I have a new dog food company in Italy, and you know, if it wasn't for some unforeseen incidences that caused that opening, they wouldn't be with me today. But you know, that's the way it is, and I am not disappointed or shy about the things that happen. You know, I'm just human. But Forza 10, it's 100% natural, organic food, and if anybody's looking for a new food that's absolutely 100, I mean, it's wonderful, absolutely incredible. Kenneth Fairbanks Lima here, he had no clue what he was getting himself into, and he said, yeah, I'll fix your truck. There was no difference again. I left the handlers in Whitehorse with a truck with no brakes and a heater core. At 50 below, I didn't really think about it. You know, you're on your own. But Ken, he took care of it, sent the parts down there, and I'm not even sure who fixed it, but thank you. I didn't really think about it, you know. It's just part of the truck problems that I've had forever. And I used to own a fleet of trucks. You'd think I'd have a good one. Ivory Jack's out here in Fairbanks. You know, Dick and his wife Joni, they've been a huge supporter of the Yukon Quest, and the people of the Yukon Quest, myself and a few others in this room, are supported by him. And it's always cool to wear bib number 8. That's his bib. He supported that bib, so it was cool to be not only a personal sponsor but a race sponsor. And you know, the guy's got great food. If you're from Fairbanks and you don't know Ivory Jacks, you need to get out more. He's got great food, and he pours stiff drinks, so I recommend it. There's a pet supplement, Dr. Carson's, I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with, and if you're not, check it out. This is stuff, I mean, I don't think you could go without once you try it. They got some of the greatest. Anchor City Lofts, they put us up in Anchorage when we go down there for different races and what have you. Modern Health Coach, something I was unaware of, but holograms and pendulums and things like that. If you don't know much about it, join the list. I don't either, but they seem to work. A company called STEM Tech, they throw some cool ingredients in a pill and they stuff them down a dog's throat and they seem to benefit from it. Big Daddy's Barbecue here in Fairbanks, they made me a bunch of trail food, and I love barbecue, but 200 meals, one of the best supporters that I've ever had. Nobody knows who she is, and she don't want me to mention her name, and I know she's going to be pissed when I say her name, but that's the way I am. Diane Toby from Anchorage, she's a University of Alaska professor, and I don't know what I said to this lady to get her under my wing, but she's been a fan of mine and a supporter, and every time something happens bad, she's right there, so she's with me all the time. And a Dr. Bob Sepp. I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard of him, Barrency Animal Clinic. It don't get any finer than that chair right there, and he's right in just outside of Anchorage. Look him up if you need anything from veterinarian staff. Let's see, people who've been following me on Facebook, sorry about that. The dog sponsors, and again, you know, the fans and the people that have been in my corner and support me over the years, they really are fans and they really are supporters because I'm a tough road to follow. Thank you guys, and I had a wonderful time. The Crest was an amazing race as usual, and everybody here should be happy as hell for the job they put in. Thank you.
Sorry. In 13th place, Ryan Olson.
Well, Lance, that's a hard act to follow. Yeah, thanks to all the race volunteers, the folks that put in the trail. It was amazing. I don't know how they wound that trail through the jumble ice, much less getting my sled through it. I think one of the most important parts of having a successful race is having an all-star handler crew, and that's what I had. My boyfriend, Derek, I mean, he did everything, driving the truck, fixing my sled, building my sled, which happened to be the night before, so I probably should have ridden it a few more times than, you know, just that quick run before the race, but it held up amazingly. And then my mom, she came all the way up here from Colorado, and this was her first time in not just 30 below, but 50 below, and she slept in the car and did the whole handler gig and did it with a smile on her face, and I was really appreciative of that. And then Riley, he's been helping me with the dogs all season long, and it was so nice to come into Dawson when I'm exhausted and cold and know that there's someone there that knows the dogs, can massage them, knows everything about them, so you can say, yeah, this dog has this problem or this problem, and then they're in good hands and you can actually sleep for the first time and really kind of relax for a bit. So thank you to the three of you for making this just an amazing race. And also when you come in from a checkpoint or into a checkpoint and you're cold, it's nice to see some smiling faces that are like, no, you're doing great. Don't be down, your dogs look great, everything's gonna be fine, as opposed to coming in and seeing someone that's like, did you see the thermometer? It's 50 below. Like, how are you out there right now? How are your hands bare? So it's nice to have someone that can kind of gloss all that over and keep you thinking positively. I also have to thank my sponsors. It's one thing for someone to sponsor a well-known musher, and I think it's just, if not, maybe even more so, admirable to sponsor someone that doesn't really have a name yet, and to kind of believe in me from day one. So thank you to Melody Phoenix and Phoenix & Company. She is actually also my employer, and I'm an accountant for anyone that doesn't know. So I just took a whole month off in tax season. That alone is pretty impressive. So thank you to Melody and Phoenix & Company. And then also thank you to Dave Greer. He has, actually the first time I ran the Iditarod a couple years ago, and he said, when you get your own dogs and you start your own thing, I want to help you out. And he's kept his word the whole time, and he's been supportive of me, even though, like I said, I'm kind of a no-name in the mushing world. So thank you very much to both of you for helping me out. And then Enterprise actually was kind of a spur-of-the-moment thing. My mom was following me along. She needed a car for the quest, and holy cow, Enterprise jumped up and said, we've got a car that she can drive for the entire quest, and cheery on. So thank you to Enterprise for giving us a rental car for the race. That was pretty neat. But yeah, thanks to all the volunteers. It was an amazing race. Can't wait to be back. The dogs were incredible. I think that was the most rewarding part, seeing them get stronger as the race went on. And I could keep saying thank yous up here, but there's 12 more mushers to go. So thanks.
In 12th place, Brian Wilmhurst.
Cool. Guess I'd like to start off by congratulating Brent. I don't think anyone deserves it more than you did. You know, you've worked hard for it, so congratulations. And then I'd also like to thank Vol and Shrew, Lang, Scarlet, Spike King, Mouse Timogen, Snorri Freya, Da Vinci Frosty, and Thor and Sushi. Without them, I'd still be standing on the runners of my sled in Whitehorse. So thanks for getting me here. Nina, you and your vets did a great job this year. Thank you very much. You guys are always amazing and easy to work with, and always learn so much from you guys. You know, officials, the vets, everyone works so hard to put this on, and that's why I like coming, just to see, you know, same faces every year and catch up with everyone. I got tons of sponsors, all in Dawson and Whitehorse, and you know, I'm sure you guys go to Dawson and have a good time and spend some money. So keep doing that, and I benefit from it, so thanks a lot. My lovely wife, Melissa, you know, she always supports me. She takes time off work and you know, comes and follows me around. And Shelly came with her this year to do some driving. Thanks a lot, Shelly. She took some holidays too, so thanks a lot. That's about it. I'm keeping it short and sweet because my beer's almost done. So thanks a lot. You know, Trailbreakers, Mike, you guys did an awesome job. You know, we heard nothing about that jumbo ice, and once we got through it, it was like, it wasn't so bad. You guys worked real hard on it. So thanks, everyone, and we'll see you next year.
In 11th place, Dave Dalton.
I draw number 11 for next year. Are we here yet? Hey, this was one of the most challenging races I've ever done, starting in the Whitehorse side. Sub-zero temperatures, it was like a camping trip in the first half. It was just tough. I'd like to thank all the volunteers and all the sponsors and the staff, Trailbreakers, for putting on an excellent race. You should have seen this race in 1988. It was bad. You think this race was... So we've come a long, long way. And did you guys know the Yukon Quest is now Alaska's Sports Hall of Fame? Yeah. Well, I want to ask the two mayors I want to challenge them to put in a nice big sign where it says, "Welcome to Fairbanks, home of the Yukon Quest." On the Parks Highway coming in and on the Richland Highway. Be nice. I want to thank my handlers, Jennifer and Kirsten. They're home watching the dogs right now, and they did a really good job for me. They both were pretty much rookies, and they got me out of Dawson in 24 hours, and that was amazing. And I thought I was going to stay there for another 15. Lee Lowry, all the years of helping out, you know, his cabin is a place to seek refuge and put all my drop bags and all that. Wayne, you know, helping out on the dogs and always helping out down in Healy. And all the gang members that helped me throughout the years, you know, without them I wouldn't have a dog team. In Alaska Heli Mush, if you guys are in Juneau, please stop by. We give an excellent tour up in the Juneau ice fields. And then my host family for years, the Kitchen family, 11 years down in Whitehorse, and Shirley Pinnell, she's been there, she's probably about 20 years or so. And I'd like to thank, I'd like to see the Quest Rider continue to improve. And I had Chris Miller ride with me, and he just really enjoyed it. And his mom, Betty here, she put him up to it, and she keeps on having support. So I would like to see that improve in the future. I've only done it a couple of times here, and you know, the Iditarod, when I ran the Iditarod in '95, that was the first year they did it, and we probably didn't raise that much money at all, and now it's they're raising a lot of money for the purse. That's about it. See you next year.
In 10th place, Mike Ellis.
I promise it's not really that long. And I apologize if some of this sounds like a broken record, but a lot of the thank yous are due again. First, I'd like to say, wild and free, baby. Congrats, buddy. You had the dream, you lived the dream, you realized your dream. You're awesome, man. Nice job. Congratulations. I'd love to thank a great big long list of business sponsors, but we don't have any, so I can move right on. I will thank our friends and family and our dog sponsors. Those are the folks that get us here and keep us coming back, and to them, thank you very much. To the race staff, the volunteers, the vets, judges, fans, and sponsors, none of us would be here without you, so thank you very much for all you do for this race to make it happen and to make it the family and the home cooking that it is. Thank you very much. I'm going to call out the trail crew again, especially Mike. Just an amazing job. The Rangers did an amazing job. I think the first couple years you put in one heck of a snowmobile track, and now you've learned to put in a dog trail. And the growth in the trail of this race has been incredible since I've been around in 2008, and it's just there's really an incredible trail out there now that's made for dog teams, and we really, really, really appreciate that. I'm still wondering when we're getting to that bad jumble ice. There's a couple other stops along the way that were amazing. Stepping Stone, Earl and Sandy's at Clinton Creek, and Slavin's. All were just real special stops for us mushers. They're places out in the middle of nowhere that you know, you pull in and they just take care of us, and it makes the race. A lot of people think the mushers are the people that make the quest, but those people are the people that make the quest, and we really appreciate them. I want to say congratulations to all the mushers, both finishers and people who didn't make the finish line. Having not made the finish line my last couple tries, I know what that feels like, and it sure feels better to get to the finish line, but it's just as much work to get to the start line. So congrats to all. I'm going to tell you a real quick story. It's a little bit embarrassing, actually, but my Eagle Summit didn't go quite the way I would have liked this year. I had one dog that we got halfway up and the trail had blown across since the last team had been there, and he started looking for a way out, and he took my other leader side to side and was kind of pulling her around, and he got the whole team spun, and we started back down the hill, and I managed to get a hook set, and we were stopped actually on the absolute middle steepest part of the climb up Eagle Summit, pointed back down, and I managed to work my way down the line with the sled just sitting there by a snow hook, and got my leader, got the leader that was trying to get up the hill put in single lead, and she took us on up the hill on the next try. But it was a pretty scary moment, ready to tumble back down that hill, and I didn't know exactly, you know, it was a trusted 9-year-old leader. I'd never really figured out exactly why he didn't want to go up that hill at that time. I've never That's not something my dogs do. But we got to the top, and I got things sorted back out, and forgiveness is a part of mushing and a part of life. And that dog came to the finish line with me. He might have been a wheel dog the rest of the way, but he's still a very good friend. And so here's to friendship in all its forms, and even when it takes a lot of forgiveness to have it last. Which leads me directly to my wife, and my hands are. I wasn't exactly a prince in Dawson. And it was the end of a long run, and I was tired and cold and had just about enough of a lot of things. And big thanks to Sue and Nita for forgiveness and friendship. Thank you, girls. Love you. I got to thank Kyla, who stayed home and manned the fort at home. Thanks a lot, Kyla. We wouldn't trust very many people there with our dogs, but thank you very much to Kyla. One other musher I really need to say thanks to, Brian. Thanks, man. Rock on. Those camps when neither one of us were feeling very good out there in the middle of nowhere, I was glad to be with you. Thanks for your attitude and your smile and your friendship. And of course, lastly, I'd like to thank my dogs. Fluffhead, Glide, Frankie, and Stinson did the best they could for as long as they could. They're all already healed up and ready to run. The 10 that finished with me, Esther, Isis, Lotus, Wilson, Bug, Monkey, Mule, Granite, Growler, and Eliza. 5 9-year-olds and 5 3-year-olds I had on my team this year that finished. And I specifically need to mention that girl Eliza, who's the one that went into single lead, and she actually led close to 900 miles of this race. This was her 9th 1,000-mile start with me, and one of the best friends I'll ever have. So big thanks to her. So yeah, thanks very much. Long live the Yukon Quest, and respect your dogs.
In 9th place, Nicholas Vanier.
Okay, I apologize for my English, which is not very good. And for the 5 minutes it will take to tell you a short story, but I think it's a good one. Before, I want to thank very much all the volunteers, of course. Special thanks to the vet who helped me very much to be and go to the finish line, because I didn't know anything about racing, and they helped me a lot. So thank you very much. Of course, yeah. And a big thanks, of course, of those people who has been breaking the trail. It's just incredible the work they did. When I was going through the jumble ice, how they did that. That's just incredible. A big thanks to Fabien and Pierre, which are the people who came all the way from France to help me, and they have been helping me very much. So thank you. So the story comes from many questions who came in this race, and from something who happened very far ago. It was in 1997. It comes from what has been writing in paper of the Yukon Quest, Nicolas Vanier as a rookie, and Nicolas Vanier, who has been disqualified in 1997. So some people tell me, why are you a rookie in this race? Because in 1997, I started in Whitehorse with big dogs, and I went to the finish line. And, but I have been disqualified. And that's a good story, I think. And I meet a judge in Dawson who tell me how he feel bad when he heard the story, but he didn't feel as bad as me. And I cannot keep it for me, so please, I want just to tell you what's happened, because some Musher asked me what's happened, so on the last checkpoint, the race marshal came and said, you get 2 hours penalty because you take a bag from another Musher. You have stole a bag from another Musher. He wake me up, so I said, no, that's not possible. He said, it's a final decision, you get 2 hours penalty, and he went away. So I say, okay, I quit the race. But the handler came and said, please, Nicolas, we came all the way from France. We have to end the race. So I take my dogs and I went to Fairbanks. But on the trail, I get very, 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 very upset. And then it was a stop. I think it was in North Pole. So I stopped there, and I was very bad. And I apologize for that. I asked volunteer to give me a phone. And I said, I want to speak to the race marshal because I don't want to cross the line with this on my head. And then I stay here 15 minutes asking for phone, asking for whatever the dog, whatever. And then they give me a phone. And the race marshal told me, okay, Nicolas, come to the finish line and we will have a discussion. So I go to the finish line, but I stop 20 feet before the finish line. And I was very bad. And I told him, I didn't steal a bag. I will never do that in my life. I have been traveling for 30 years in the north. I will never do that. And he said, okay, you have to cross the finish line, and then you will make a protest form. And I say, no, I'm not going to cross the finish line. Anyway, I'm tired, the dog I'm tired, I'm going to have a rest here. I was 20 feet from the finish line. Maybe I'm going to start the courier, and I say, okay, it was 3 in the morning, everybody was tired, I was stupid. And then my handler, the race marshal speak with my handler, and then I cross the finish line. A few days later, I learned that I have been disqualified. And then a few days later, I understand, like Frank Turner, like Trevor Byrne, the story. The story is that I have been training with Trevor Byrne, which was a friend, and it was Trevor Byrne who has no bag at the last checkpoint. And we did all the bag together, so the bag are exactly the same. I didn't take the bag because it was volunteer who bring the bag to the checkpoint. And I figure out that volunteer bring Nicolas Vanier, so they bring one bag, another bag, and the third one wasn't mine. But I couldn't know that it wasn't mine because we did together the training, the bag, and everything. So that's why I feel so bad. And I just want, today, I think you understand why I want to tell you the story, because many people ask me, why have you been disqualified? And it was in my heart. So thank you to have been listening for me. Thank you. And anyway, I love this race. That's why I came back, and it is difficult from Europe to come back. It's written everywhere that it's an international race. So I will be very happy to promote the race in Europe if you want to, and to help Musher. There have been some Musher who tell me, I set up a race in France, the name is LGO. I will be very happy if some Musher wants to come to Europe, and I will be very happy also to help French people, German people, if they want to come to the Yukon quest. So if you need any help, it will be an honor for me to be like an ambassador for the Yukon Quest. Thank you very much.
In 8th place, Torsten Connert.
Well, as Marty said earlier, so we have the longest way to get here. So I had to travel twice in 1 week to shuttle the dogs between Stockholm and Fairbanks. And on my first flight, I met UNF actually, and I told him the story, and he looked at me and said, "Oh man, you must be more crazy than I am." And I never thought I would hear those words out of his mouth. So, so I was thinking, maybe there's something wrong with me, but I mean, who cares? To me, it was worth each and every mile traveled to here to be part of that great race, and it's just had a great time. But I really have to thank my wife, who's putting up with me for the last 25 years. And she's still waiting on this bathroom we never can do because, yeah, I have to spend the money on the flights for the dogs, and you know. So, so I'm really grateful for that, and she's even coming every year and being my handler, and so thank you for that. Other than that, it's Marcel, who came from the Netherlands to be the second handler, and yeah, there were a lot of people along the way to help us to get here and along the trail. Other than that, I want to thank all the officials, the volunteers, people at the hospitality stops, the trail breakers, again, Circle, you know, and yeah, it was just a great race. Thank you, all of you, and hope to see you again.
In 7th place, Jason Campo.
Well, thank you very much. What a challenge that was. This is my first 1,000-mile race, and it was everything I expected and more. And you know, I really want to thank the volunteers. These events are truly the people that make them successful. And you know, out there on that trail, being new to it, having people smiling faces at the checkpoints, it just made a world of difference. And you know, I can't thank you guys enough. You know, you take time out of your own lives to come out here and participate in these events, and it truly is remarkable how people come together and create such a great group of people that all have the same passion, and that's these great dogs. So thank you very much to all of you for taking the time to come out to this great event. The vets have been amazing, and I think someone that's new to the sport, it's really, you know, really great to be able to rely on Nina and her team. At every checkpoint they're there, smiling. They're exhausted, they're tired just like we are, you know, and they're there to help. And you know, I've had nothing but positive in dealing with them and having the support that they give you. So it's been great. I'd like to thank my dad, who really stepped up. He's here. You know, we had a lot of problems. We had a lot of problems with one of my handlers getting injured, and there was a lot of coordinating, and we made it here. We made it to the start line, and God willing, we made it to the finish line, so I was pretty happy about that. So thanks, Dad, for all your help and support. I'd like to thank Outdoor Survival Canada. They're one of my big sponsors, and with that minus 57 coming across the lake, they make great snowsuits, parkas, and you know, it's great product, but I'll tell you, it's still cold. That was the TSN, I guess you guys have ESPN here, turning point for me of the race was that stepping stone checkpoint. You know, I was almost in tears coming into that one. It was minus 57 and I got in, and it was just unreal how cold it was. And, you know, I was tired, frustrated, questioning myself, questioning, you know, why we were doing this, when typically at this time of year my family and I are in Hawaii or somewhere tropical. So it was real easy to be able to give up at that point. But, you know, the life lesson that I learned is that, you know, you just keep thriving through. And I got to that checkpoint, and guys like Lance were there, and Jeff King, and, you know, these are these guys that you read about and that are multiple champions. And I got into that checkpoint, and the people treated me like family, and it really turned my spirit around. And, you know, got to have coffee with Jeff and talk a while, and Lance talked to me around the fire for a bit, and things like that. You know, for you guys, the veterans, it means a lot to us to have your support. And, you know, guys like Mike and Brian and all these other guys treated us great, and it really helps. Because, you know, you're questioning yourself and if you're doing things right, and if you're doing right by the dogs, and, you know, when you have other people that are supporting you and you know, helping you along the way, it means a lot. So thanks to all the mushers, and, you know, you veterans, you guys all know who you are, and I have so much respect for all of you. And I said it at the start, and I'll say it again, is the amount of money, time, and commitment it takes to be in this sport, I've learned extremely quickly. Man, it's a lot of money. I didn't know dog food was that expensive, but yeah, so, and you guys just do a phenomenal job at it. And, you know, I laugh when people say, oh, these dogs aren't treated well. I mean, you go to any one of these mushers' dog yards and look at the way these dogs are treated. These dogs are the best treated dogs in the world, and if anyone ever wants to dispute that, go to a musher's house. I'll just tell you one quick story, and then I'll get out of here. But yeah, 2 years ago, it was actually my dad. I had bought 6 dogs and a sled. Decided to try my hand at this sport. It was out in the Banff area, Spray Lakes, and we decided to hook up these 6 dogs, and I had no idea what I was doing. Still don't. So I took off, and all of a sudden the gang line snapped, and the dogs were gone in the middle of the lake. They were, you know, 10 miles down, and I finally got them. They were all bunched up, and I just remember on my knees, grown man crying, saying, what am I doing? And I saw a repeat of that on Eagle Summit. No one told me that they were real mountains. I thought hills, but mountains, Jesus. So that rosebud is, everyone talks about Eagle Summit, but that rosebud was a kick in the you-know-where. I got around a bend, anchored, put my snow hook in, told the dogs how great they were the best, wow, I had great dogs, I barely got off the runners, and then got around the bend and looked up and said, holy shit. That was tough. I've been knocked out by men that are 6'5" playing hockey, but nothing has kicked my ass harder than this race. So yeah, thanks to everybody in this room, everyone that's involved. I really can't tell you how cool it is to see all you volunteers, everyone involved. It really makes me understand why I'm doing this sport and why I choose to do it. And I think it's phenomenal the amount of effort everyone puts into it. And, you know, I'd like to thank my dogs. Obviously, everyone in this room has phenomenal dogs, and I think, you know, everyone has great ways of doing things. And, you know, I'd like to thank my friend Jake, who's obviously been a mentor for the last year and given me a lot of guidance and help. And you know, these dogs, these dogs are used to running a little faster pace than I was able to run, and look back at me a couple times when we were sleeping for 6 hours. But it was definitely a learning experience, and I'm really happy with the way we did it, and we took our time, and I got to learn a lot about the sport and the way it runs, and you know, I'm looking forward to our next challenge. I wasn't too sure I was on Eagle Summit, but I am now, so thank you very much, and thanks for all your support.
In 6th place, Normand Cassavant.
Oh my God. I want to start in a weird way, guys. The way that I was feeling all the way Whitehorse to Fairbank, it's for you, madame. OK? Quand je voyage dans mon beau pays, partout je vois des gens, je leur souris. Seul au volant de mon équipe de chiens, je suis heureux puis je me fais saluer. Si vous arrivez de me rencontrer, soyez sans gêne, écrivez-moi Normand. Vous me verrez brusquement surgir. Et bienvenue dans le bois avec moi. Wouhou! It's a song about the guys that is traveling in the bush and he's happy and he's inviting all of you to come and see him in the bush. And he's traveling with his dog, so that's the song. So that's the way I was feeling during that race. Happy, I sing all the time. It makes me feel good. And for me, it's a good way to, when I sing, you can't believe how my dogs, they run well, you know. It's cool. And I think that I really believe in good energy, and I really believe that good energy travel. And I can prove it with my dog, so I wish you all good energy. And when you don't feel right, find a way, guys. Find a way, sing, do something fun, you know. But find a way, and it's going to help you. I just want to talk about another thing, too. The Yukon Quest organization is like a big family. Sometimes there is some action between some people, some committee, and all that. But it's like a big family, and after that, everything is over. So I really enjoy doing that race. I really enjoy working with all the people that are here, the vet, the judge. It was a fantastic race. The trail was fantastic. I remember Mike said, "Oh my God, it's so boring, the Yukon River. I would like to have some action." Yeah, 1 hour later, I was on jumbo ice, you know. Wow, we got it, man. Rock and ice, you know. So, yeah, I want to say, too, for me, it was an important year. I don't know if I will come back, like maybe some other Musher sometime. It's a really expensive race. But I was really happy to work in a way with Red Letters, that media company that was following the quest this year. It's going to be a big documentary on the Yukon Quest on the French-Canadian channel in Quebec and all across Canada. It's going to be in French. And as Nicolas said in his way, if the quest needs some help to promote the race, it's happened right now. We're going to have a big documentary for the Francophone people. So it's great. It's great. So I had a real good pleasure to work with that organization. They are professional, all of them. and they never interfere. I don't know if it's the right word, but they never interfere on my race. They never came and stopped me or doing things that it was can put me in trouble. So that was fantastic to work with them. I want to say thanks for sure to my handler. I had a great team this year, like usual. But it was fantastic to have Bill again, Ray, and Lepic from Quebec that came, a old friend of mine that came from Quebec and bring a lot of good energy. And I don't want to forget Karine, my wife, that was there too. And a big thanks to all my sponsors. Without any sponsor, I don't think I would be here today. So thank you very much, and have a good evening, guys.
In 5th place, UNEF.
Well, for this race, you have to understand there is one guy that was more focused than any musher, and I think every year he does a better job. I was actually afraid to talk to him at checkpoints because if I asked a question, he'd get on his phone and start looking it up and trying to give me an answer. And that's this guy right here, Doug Grillo. Every time we do this race, every year it seems like your heart gets bigger for your job, and I really, it's beautiful what you're doing, man. And I hope you're around for a long time because you make it easier for us to worry about our problems because you're going to tell us if there's any other problems up ahead for us to worry about. And there was one other person that was more nervous than any other musher, and that was this young lady right here. In fact, I talked to her right before I was about to take off, and she made me seem calm because she was a little bit nervous. But I think we all here can agree that, Nina, we're glad you're a part of the community, and you make the job of head vet look really well, like you're just little Kathleen. And it's great to watch. So if you all still have your little banquet deals here, if you look at the back, there's a picture and it says Central Checkpoint late at night. I recognize the place, but I don't really call it Central Checkpoint. I call it Crab's Corner. And Jim and Sandy Crab have been here tonight, and I think every year that place might change its name, but for us, their spirit is what Crab's Corner is about. They've been feeding us mushers since the race started, and Lord knows we need the food. Most of us are losing way too much weight these days. I've actually been poking little holes in my belt. I'm starting to feel like Lance here. Have a little competition going, brother. Speaking of brothers, I think most of the mushers knew who was going to win this race this year because he deserved it. Lord knows every time I turned on Facebook, it'd be a picture of you doing something amazing. And half of us are going, boy, I wish I was Brent Sass. But brother, it's a long way from Hawaii, and we're all really, really proud of you, man. And keep it going, and hopefully one of these years we can all put it together and put on a super magical race. But I think you and Ellen put on quite a show this year, and my serious respect for this man right here, Ellen Moore. I have to thank my few sponsors real quick before I get in trouble, because I'm sure somebody's listening there. Red Paw Dog Food. I'm really poor. I live in a cabin in the woods. I ain't very good at working, so getting a bunch of food for free has definitely made life a little bit easier. Sorry. GBA Corona. There's some friends I met out of the Houston area. Petromarine. All the Facebook fans that help out in different ways, donations. Basically, though, as mushers, we all know we're not really good with money. Maybe two of us, but the rest of us, are usually, just trying to make it happen. And
that's the beauty about being a dog musher. You know, I used to be a looper. I used to be a golf caddy in the North Shore of Chicago. I caddied for some of the richest people in the world. And a lot of them weren't very happy people because they didn't really have that passion, that love for what they do. And I think we as mushers, there's a reason Dave Dalton's coming back here every year, because he has to. It's what we're about. It ain't about the quest or the Iditarod or whatever race. It's about who we are. And mushing just ain't a competition. It's a religion. It's how we breathe. It's what we dream of. And just touching our dogs every day is really what we're put on here for Earth. Is a lot of us, you know, the dogs are, in my mind, almost a superior being to humans. None of us is going to go and run 1,000 miles this year, are we? None of us just ran 1,000 miles and is about to run another 1,000 miles in a couple weeks. Dogs are so beautiful. We are so lucky to be a part of their world. So hopefully in the future of these races, we spend more and more time talking about the dogs, because they are what it's all about. Speaking of my dogs, they, like Jason, were making fun of me going up Eagle Summit. Maybe somebody like Lance or Alan knows how to get a dog to go up there pulling you while you just sit on the runners, but most of us are sitting behind that sled just pushing that thing, walking up that mountain. And every time we stop and we're breathing and it's high altitude and those dogs are looking back at us and all their mouths are not even open, they're not even breathing heavy. My leader, George Costanza, he would just lay down and start licking his paw and just going, all right, he's having one of those issues again. So, and I'm not even smoking cigarettes, that's the sad thing. But Eagle Summit, we all love it. This whole race is not only about community, it's about the trail. And a guy like Mike writes, he knows this more than anybody. And that's why I just had a poster signed by all the mushers that we gave to Mike. And we're also going to be giving another signed poster to a guy named Mike Sager out of Trout Cabin. Mike, you guys probably didn't see much of the video of the trail this year, but it was some pretty crazy stuff out there. And Alan, I don't know how you mastered it, but to not have a scent to follow, it was pretty intense. It was like being in Antarctica half the time. But Mike Rice has been helping out for what, like 6 years now? 7 years? Longer? Mike Sager has been there for every year. And Mike Sager has a place in Eagle. He gets on his snow machine, pays the fuel, goes out to a cabin in the woods, spends 2 weeks out there being our caretaker, even if just for an hour or two. And that really is what the quest is about, is not about, hey, how many races I won, but what can I do to make this a better race next year? And we've got the spirit. It's happening. You can feel it. And Brent, you're the ringleader, so keep it going, brother. So two quick last stories. The prettiest thing I saw on the trail was from a kid, and I had to go around and ask, what's this kid's name again? I keep forgetting it. And of course, he flew by me a couple hours later. And that's Damon, watching his Mitch CV team turn in unison, all 12 dogs to the right, food bowls 1 to 12, and every dog eating at the same time. It was just a thing of beauty. It was amazing to watch, because it's only 80 miles from the finish line. And it was pretty impressive, man. It's always nice to learn from a rookie how to run dogs. The coolest thing I saw, and Lance will probably back me up on this, there's a few characters in this trail that are totally intertwined with the Quest Trail. One of them was our buddy Carl Cochran. Another one is a guy that I got to hang out with, Stepping Stone, and it was really neat because he's a big hero, and I've known him. I met him at Ivory Jacks years ago. And I said to him, oh, I noticed you have an accent. Are you from England? And he goes, no, I'm an effing Canadian. And his name is Larry Cowboy Smith. And when we go out to Stepping Stone and to have Mr. Smith show up, and if you folks don't know who Larry Cowboy Smith is, then you really need to do your studying up on the Yukon Quest and the Iditarod. Pretty amazing dude. The coolest part about Cowboy Smith is the folks there say, hey, we got Brent, we got you, we got Hugh, let's go take a picture of these guys together. And so they came flying up to us, and I was just talking to Larry a little bit about dogs, and kept on telling him, Lance is coming. You'll get to see Lance. He's like, nah, I got to go check out my traps. I don't have time to see Lance. So they came up with their cameras, and that's what, to me, I really realized this year is what's changed the most with the Yukon Quest. And Cowboy Smith, you know, a true character of the North, he saw the people with the video and the cameras, and he looked the other way and he said, no, I don't do that stuff. And that is what we call old school, because none of us will ever be like that. And that's why we love a guy like Cowboy. As far as inspirations, though, go, there's always one person that inspires me more than anybody, and there's a reason why I do all this racing every year, the reason that I have problems with sleeping, and why I like to dance so much and just get out there and live life. Because a few years ago, he had his problems, and he taught us all how to live life, and that's Mr. Lance Mackey. And even if I'm not out there with you, brother, I'm always wishing you the best. And I knew I should have waited. I was too busy catching up to Brent because he was making these killer campfires that you could see from about a mile away. So anyhow, sorry I ramble. You guys know that by now. But have a good night, and God bless the quest.
In fourth place, Damon Tedford.
I guess while I have all the Musher's attention here, I just wanted to know if anybody found my wallet. It was around the Black Hills, maybe at the base there. No? All right. So it's been an amazing last couple of weeks. Over the years, I've been on a jog or just daydreaming. I've been thinking about finishing the quest with a strong team. Replayed those images over my head so many times that it became like incredibly clear. So much so that every detail was accounted for. But as you can imagine, as it often happens in life, when you start to let your dreams or your imagination run away with the dream, eventually it has to sort of come face to face with reality, and often reality stifles it and leaves it a meager version of itself. So you can imagine how elated I was when my team and I came in fourth place, and I've got a lot of people to thank for that, so I'll just do that now. First off, Mitch Seavey for just his mentorship and really allowing me to make mistakes, and also just putting together a great program for me and my dog team, and also giving me a great group of dogs. Also his handlers, Kevin Kashansky, Seth Barnes, and Patrick Beal. Great group of guys willing to help me out with anything from meat cutting for preparing for this race to just sharing some of the lessons that they have learned to sort of help me work through sort of to shorten the learning curve, if you will, on something that takes years to master. Also, my handlers for the race, Seth Robertson and Tim Bellamy. Tim, if you could just stand up for a sec, man. So this guy is one of my old high school buddies. I haven't talked to him in about, I don't know, what was it, Tim? You said 1995? Yeah, we were best of friends in high school. We'd actually crossed paths, but missed each other in Edmonton a few years when I was in the military. But I had put this Hail Mary out for a handler about 2 weeks before the race, and Tim was like, "Hey, it sounds kind of neat. I'll do it." And he dropped everything. He's like manages his own business. He's got a 5-year-old kid, and he made it. We had such a great time out there, Tim, and I couldn't have asked for anybody better out there. So thanks a lot for that. Also, Lauren Kimball, who is my partner in many things. She's my only sponsor. She's been there through the 6 years and sort of the fight about whether or not we should even move up here, and supporting me and just helping me through everything. And I called on her a number of times for helping with the food drops, just for moral support on things, or just giving me a break from the intense training schedule we had. So thanks a lot, hon. I appreciate all your support. Every musher has come up and said it's a family here, and it really is. The volunteers, the vet staff. I really feel you guys have created like one heck of a playground here, and I feel just really, really special to come up and be able to play in it. It really was a fantastic time. So thank you all for supporting the race, for helping us out, feeding us in checkpoints, cheering us on, and helping us lift our spirits when we're dealing with that 50 below weather. It really is appreciated. Also to the competitors, I know for so many years I've looked up to you guys and watched you race and just been mesmerized by you guys. It was great to sort of rub shoulders with you over the last this season, to sit down and chat with you. And also I just want to thank you all for, you've been inspirational. In the face of adversity, you guys continue to charge through, and I think that's just awesome. And lastly, of course, the dogs. I'm going to get a bit verklempt here, actually. I'm trying not to, but you bond with these guys for 4 months, and you lease them and you feel like you're a bit of an imposter because you're leasing a team. But I love those guys. They pulled me up over the hills, and you just get so close with them, and you realize how amazing they are. So just special thanks to those dogs as well. Thank you very much.
Okay, we're now down to our top 3 finishers. In third place, Ed Hopkins.
Well, boy, that was quite the ride. And first of all, I'd like to thank my 2 leaders that I kind of kept in the back of the team for the first third of the race, because when I put those 2 up, Mai Tai and Caesar, I just had to close my eyes and hang on because they just took right off. And I really like to thank those 2 for the job they did. I'm going to make this short and sweet. I'd like to thank my sponsors, Alaska RV Discovery Tours, Ground Effect Media, Alex Hotels and Suites in Anchorage, Mini Street Bed and Breakfast here in Fairbanks, all my handlers, MC, Niall, Josh, and Michelle. I haven't got my glass. Oh, there you are. Oh, and I'm also I'm running the quest this year to raise awareness for juvenile diabetes. And if you want to learn any more information about that, you can just go to taggishlightkennels.com and follow the links, and you can learn everything you need to know about that sort of thing. Thank you very much, and have a nice night.
And all 3 of our top mushers are receiving custom-made knives from Alaska Rods out of Skagway. So, in second place, Alan Moore.
Wow, did we make this race exciting or what? Well, we're going to make it more exciting next year, I guarantee you. It was fantastic to see the people out when Brent and I came through. It was amazing to go by the store, and you had to part people. I mean, it seemed like there were 1,000 people. I know there wasn't that many there, but this race is definitely headed in a good direction. I mean, you can see it in the people that came out, to the finish line. And not only in the finish line, when we were going down the river, and I didn't finish till about midnight, I mean, there were campfires all the way down the river, and people excited. I mean, they're yelling, and that's all you hear all the way down the river is yelling. It never stops because there's so many of them. So definitely we're getting some excitement created, and I know that's what we want. All these people have all these stories about other people, and Brent and I talked that, it was like 600 miles, and we never saw another person. So it's hard to have all these stories like these other folks had. However, I did have one small story that I will share. It actually had to do with UNEF. and he probably will remember it when I bring this up. He's the one person I did see at one time. And I have this leader, and she was in heat. And so she was a problem like the whole race. Whenever I stopped, she turned around, wanted to go back to see the boys. So actually, I was camped out right there, just about to get ready to go, and here comes she by me, and I'm all frustrated, trying to get her lined out, this, that, and the other. And I said, I was talking real fast, and I said, Hugh, this bitch needs a man. And he looked at me and said, what did you say? And he had to ask me at the end of the race what I finally end up saying. So, so that's the one encounter with a person I had right there. There is one more that I heard last night, and it has to do with Kristen Pace, and it had to do kind of with the same thing about dogs being in heat and a lot of little kids around asking her what that meant. I wish she was up here to tell it, because I can't tell it like she could, but that was pretty hilarious right there. So anyway, that's just about all the stories I have from the trail as far as that. So in that, I probably should thank a few sponsors. Let's see who we have here. We have Horizon Lines of Alaska. We have Eagle Pack Dog Food, Verizon of Alaska, Pleasant Valley Store. Thank you, Becky and Alex. Woohoo! And they do much more than just be our sponsor. They're like the Quest sponsors, and they always have been. And Becky did an excellent job on the checkpoint at Two Rivers and everything. So thanks, Becky. All right, next we have, I should thank handlers. We all think we have the best handlers, as do I. We got Ray Crow over there. He's always been the best. And we got Moira, who came, all these people come from across the seas. Well, she did also. She come from New Zealand to be a handler here in the Quest. So it took her 36 hours to get here. So people are motivated for this sport and motivated for the Quest, and that tells you that right there. We also have other people. We have Spencer this year. He come and helped us this year, and he ran dogs great and did an excellent job. We had Megan. She has always helped us for the last, this makes the third year. We have Mark. He's a kind of a newbie that can fix anything, and thank you, Mark. We had Wendy sewing everything on our jackets that could be possibly sewed on our jackets. We look like NASCAR. So thank you, Wendy. And the trail breakers. I mean, we say it and reiterate it over and over, but you can't thank them enough, and they need it. You know, we got Mike on the U.S. side, and we have Mitch on the Canadian side, and it's just awesome what they can do. And going over 30 miles of jumble ice, I know we've said it over and over and over, that we cannot imagine the first person to go over this 30 miles of jumble ice, how they made that trail as good as they did. But they did, so we want to thank you, all the vets, and especially T. Rose. She's like our personal vet. She comes to our house and does whatever we want, so thank you for that. And congratulations, Brent. We made a good race, and you know what? We're going to make a good one next year, too.
And finally, your 2015 Yukon Quest champion, Brett Sass.
Wow. Thank you so much. I've already coined this Cry Fest 2015, so be prepared. I have
more people to thank than I could ever even begin to try and thank tonight. So you're going to have to bear with me, and I'm going to go through a list that's longer than you can even imagine of people that have had just a pivotal role in getting me to this point right here. First off, I want to start with all the Quest people, all the Quest sponsors. Thank you so much for hanging in with the Yukon Quest and making this the race that it is. We wouldn't be out here with all of your support. You've all been mentioned already. You know who you are, and we really, 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 really appreciate you. The volunteers, you know, I started out as a volunteer in 2005. Josh and I were out at Circle and volunteering for the race, and it made a lasting impression on me. I decided after that I was going to run the race. I ran the Quest 300 in 2006. Ran the Quest 1,000 mile in 2007, been running it ever since. So I started out as a volunteer, made the dream happen, and volunteers, we couldn't do this without you guys, so I appreciate that. The logistics crew, my good buddies Alex, Ryan, and Josh, you guys are amazing. There wasn't one flaw out there on the trail. Every checkpoint was run perfectly. All the checkpoint managers, all of you guys worked together flawlessly. It was just an amazing race. It seems like every year we have some sort of complaint, and this year we were at our meeting and there wasn't one complaint. So round of applause to these guys. They did an amazing job. It's like a broken record with these trail breakers, but Mike, we can't thank you enough. It was just an absolutely amazing trail. The build-up was, oh, this bad jumble ice, and it was bad, but it wasn't bad for us. It was bad for you guys to put that trail in, that's for sure. But I got in there, and my dog team wound our way through, and really just had a lot of fun in the end. So thanks a lot for all your help, Mitch, and all the Canadian Rangers on the Canadian side. We wouldn't be out here without all those guys putting in all that hard work. So hands off to all those trail breakers out there. The board of directors, I've been really gifted and able to spend some time on the board of directors, and I know these people put their heart and soul into everything for the Yukon Quest. So we really appreciate both the Canadian and the American side. All you board members, thank you very much for all that you do. The staff in both Yukon and Fairbanks, we really appreciate everything you guys do for us. There's no way we would be out here without all the hard work you guys do either. The fans. This year coming into the finish was unbelievable. I mean, we were in Two Rivers, and I had a plan, we left Two Rivers, and there was it felt like the finish line in Two Rivers. When we left Two Rivers, there were hundreds of people there cheering us on, and that was awesome. And then all the way down the river, all the way down the trail, just more and more people, and giving me splits and saying, you're only 5 minutes behind him, and then you're only 4 minutes behind him. And I thought, oh man, here we go. I'm gaining a little bit on Alan every time. So the fans helped me sort of motivate me to go, okay, we're gaining a little bit. But I knew that when I got to Two Rivers and the fans were all there, it was the time for me to make a move. And all you guys really helped me and my dogs motivate. And there was just tons and tons of people from there all the way to the finish. There was a little bit of a place there where we go away. But as soon as I hit the river, like Alan said, around every corner is a campfire. There's somebody out there yelling and screaming. I got to Fort Wainwright. Anyone here from Fort Wainwright? I can't thank Fort Wainwright enough. There was 25 people around every corner out there on the river, and they were screaming and yelling and cheering, and I really, really appreciate all the support that the military base gave us there. And then all of you at the finish line, there aren't words to describe how amazing it was to come across that finish line with literally hundreds of people out there cheering us on. So I thank you so much for the fans. The Facebook fans, you guys have stuck with me through and through. I try and put you into the driver's seat as much as I possibly can and give you a little ride what it's like to be a dog musher and what it's like to be behind these amazing dogs. And you guys have helped me and supported me all the way through it. So I really, really appreciate all of your help. My sponsors, Matt, Mainscape, that's Ryan Hughes over there. I can't thank you enough, Ryan. You and Mainscape have been there the last few years and have made my life a lot easier on many levels. North Humid Communities, which is also associated with Mainscape there. Headlamps, Dog Paddle Design. Cody, you make the best sled out there. I don't think anyone in this room would ever even argue with that. Big round of applause. As I smashed through that jumbo ice, it's all about believing, you know, it's all about believing for me, and I never once hesitate to just smash that sled. And it never once lets me down. I didn't break one bolt, I didn't break one runner, I didn't break anything on that sled the entire race. So thanks a lot for building a quality dog sled, Cody. Horse expediting, my good buddy Josh. We'll get to him a little later, but his company has always supported me, and I thank him very much for that. Arctis cart, I drive a cart in the fall time. They build an amazing cart. Alaska Glove, Ken and Greta, my good friends forever, and you guys have been there since the beginning. I appreciate all of your support. Danny, Joe Hardenbrook, Anna, thanks for all the amazing food. One of the biggest things after last year's debacle was I knew I had to take better care of myself, and I worked with Joe, and we made, I just had a really high quality diet out there this year. Lots of hydration, lots of soups, lots of amazing food, which really got me through this race. So Joe and Anna, I can't thank you enough. I know I'm forgetting like 100 people here, but let's see who else. Kevin, my good friend Kevin, who came up from San Francisco just for the night. Thank you very much. I appreciate you coming up here for that. Okay, here we go. This is where it gets tough. My mom and dad. I would not be here without them. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, they've supported me. They thought I was absolutely crazy about 10 years ago, and I said, I'm going to be a dog musher. And I had 5 dogs, and I had 10 dogs, and 15 and 20, and they stood by me the whole way, and now they thought I was crazy, I think, for the first 5 years at least. And but now they support me 100%, and I would never be here without them. So thank you very much for your support. A guy named Kurt Wold. He's sitting right over here. The story goes, the reason I'm even a dog musher is I was out on the trail ski touring. I had one little dog, and I watched this dog team come by me. It was just a recreational team. We were out in the Goldstream Valley trails, and he came by, and I watched it go by, and I just looked at that dog team and I said, I want to do that. Right there. And a couple weeks later, I went over to his place and tracked him down and got to talking to him. And he had all just recreational dogs that were all amazing. And I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And he handed me a dog, 6-week-old puppy, and I named it Silver. And I think most people in the room know who Silver is. And Silver is the foundation of my kennel. 10 dogs in my team are out of Silver. Silver is he's a legend in this race, in this sport, and I owe it all to Kurt. He gave me my first dog, and I really appreciate it, Kurt. Thanks a lot. Let's see here. A couple of really big influences that aren't here tonight. Joey and Pam Reddington. They're the most amazing people. They put me up all the time. I mush into their place. They're legends in the sport, obviously, and they are huge, huge, huge supporters of me. I think Pam was really relieved that I won because she said we probably wouldn't have Joey around anymore. He was so stressed out the entire race. So yeah, I thank them immensely for all their support they've given me over the years. Okay, so... to my handlers. First from the race, Josh and Steve. Well, Josh and Steve, you guys all know who Josh and Steve are. These two characters, they have supported me over the last X amount of years. They've been there for me every year. And every year when I fall down and get back up, they're there to help me get back up. This year, a real good story. Josh came out to the place, and he's like, how you work on your schedule? How's your schedule working out? And I said, I haven't had a whole lot of time to think about it. I've been just training. I'm trying to, train and figure out what my schedule is going to be like. And he's like, well, you mind if I use this big whiteboard? I have this huge whiteboard in my room that has all my goals and stuff on it. And I said, oh, they're getting old anyway, so erase it all off and use it. And he wrote his entire schedule out on this board. And that is the schedule that I ran the entire race. So if anyone wants a real secret to the Yukon Quest, Josh Horst has that secret right there. So Josh, thank you so much for everything. Steve, he travels up every year. He was a volunteer for many years before he got onto the Wild and Free crew. And I just can't thank you enough for keeping it real out there on the trail and making everybody laugh constantly all the time. Whenever I come into a checkpoint and I see Steve standing there, it just brings a smile to my face. And those are the types of people we need on our team, and those are the types of people I like to surround myself around. So thanks a lot, Steve. I really, really appreciate all your help. Stoller, that's right. Let's see here. Just a few more, about 20 more names here I have to go through here. My vet, Tamara Rose, thank you very much. She's bailing me out constantly, all the time. I emailed her this year and was like, hey, I'm mushing to Fairbanks. I have a few dogs that still need some vaccinations done. Could you meet me at Cody and Page's and give me those vaccinations? And sure, no problem. So thank you, Tamara, for always being there and bailing me out. Ryan Hughes, again, the guy hauls more dog food and just supports me in every possible way. His wife, Lisa, who puts up with the fact that he sort of devotes half his life to me and mushing. So Lisa, thank you very much for that. Lisa also makes the Lusty cakes, which are just absolutely amazing out there on the trail. So thank you there. Okay, here we go. I'm going to try and go a little faster here through this. David Munson, Susan Butcher were some early influences in my career, and I just need to give them a shout out. David had supported me all the way through, and I really appreciate them. Aaron, Jen, Ada, and Bergen for taking care of my drop dogs back here in Fairbanks. You guys do it every year. I really, really appreciate that. Kristen and Andy, you guys, hey Moose. You guys all know Kristen and Andy already. These guys trained a bunch of my dogs as yearlings and have a bunch of my dogs from my genetics in their team. But my big dog, Basin, I told them when they got him as a yearling, I said, put this guy up in front. I think he'll be pretty good. And they spent an entire year of blood, sweat, and tears putting that dog up front and training him to be a leader. And that dog just ran 1,000 miles in lead. So I can't thank them enough for helping me get to where I am right now with that. Mandy Nauman, who ran a team of mine last year in the Quest, 3 of those dogs that she ran in that team were in my team this year. So thank you very much, Mandy, for your hard work and getting training up some young dogs for me. Kyla Durham, I think we all know who she is. She's a kind of a Quest legend in and of her own. My entire team right now basically was trained by her as yearlings. They all ran in her yearling teams in 2011 and 12, and I can't thank you enough for all the support you give to Wild and Free. So thanks, Kyla. Okay, so the last people I have to thank here, and this is going to be my handlers this year. Nora, Tim, and Elena, they're sitting right over here. These guys, I am not an easy person to work for. I'm sort of driven, determined, and work like crazy. And when you live at my place, out of my homestead where I live, we live 150 miles out of Fairbanks, completely off the grid. It's survival every day. And I train dogs every day, and I expect them to just kind of hold the fort down and give them a little tutorial of how to do it, and then just grab the bull by the horn and get it done. And those 3 have done an amazing job this year. So stand up, guys. These guys right over here. Nora, Elena, and Tim. I would not be standing right here without them. There's no doubt in my mind about that. One quick story. So I left Circle, and I was headed towards Central, and I got out there, and we were moving along all right, but not very fast, and it got to the point where I knew that I was going to have to rest, and dogs were slowing down, so I just said I just need to shut it down and take a little break, and I knew that they needed a good break, and so I had a good lead, and I really wasn't too worried about it, so I bedded the dogs down, gave them a good meal, and made my first mistake out of my sleeping bag, which I did like 5 years ago for the first time, and haven't done it since, and overslept in a race. And I slept for a long time, and but when I woke up, and I had my alarm clock sitting right there, and I looked at what time it was, the first thought I had was, oh my God, the world is going crazy right now because I am laying in my sleeping bag for like the last 9.5 hours. And they have no idea what's going on. So I jumped out of my bag, and I'm packing my sleeping bag, and I see a headlight coming. And I'm like, I couldn't believe it. I got out of my sleeping bag immediately and like looked for runner tracks. I thought for sure Alan had already went on by me, and I thought I'd given it up. But there weren't any fresh tracks, so I was pretty stoked, but was in a hurry. And I see these headlights coming, and it turns out it was Mike Wright's coming to check on me because I had been out there for so long. And I think he got a good chuckle, and he pulled his snow machine right up, and he sat right there as I'm stuffing my sleeping bag in and getting all my stuff ready to go. And you know, he just chuckled about alarm clock jokes and other things as I got things packed up and got going. And it took us a while to get going. The dogs had been laying there for a long time, and once I got them going and got them into that next checkpoint, the whole time into the next checkpoint, I was just, you know, I didn't know what to think. I had given up a 10-hour lead, basically, or a 9-hour lead, but the only thing that resonated in my mind was that we're rested, we're happy, and we're excited, and we're gonna keep this attitude going, no matter if I got Alan creeping up my butt closer and closer, which I knew he was gonna be there. One way or the other, I knew Alan Moore would be there. Whether I had a huge lead or not, I knew that he would come. And everyone always, you know, everyone asked me, what are you gonna do? Why, you know, aren't you freaked out that Alan's right in your butt now, and that you're in a race now? And to be perfectly honest to you, I was way more worried about Alan when I was out on the Yukon River and he was 8 hours behind me. I was stressing out about what he was going to pull off to try and come up and beat me. And I was way more stressed out then. When it became a race, all I had to do was focus on my dogs and the dogs ahead of me, and those dogs were absolutely amazing. We put the hammer down. I continued to rest them. We rested for 4 hours in Central. We went on to 101 and rested for 3 hours, and I think right there, even my handlers, I think, had a little bit of a second guess on me as I walked out of the Musher place with my long underwear on to greet Alan Moore as he blew through the checkpoint. And I'm standing there in my long underwear, and I think everyone at 101 was going, what is Brent doing right now? He's just letting them go. But it's when you have to believe in your dog team, and I believed that extra 30 minutes of rest to give them a full 3 hours in 101 was going to give us the speed to get to the finish line first. I never ever doubted the dog team, and they never doubted me. And hats off to my dogs. They were an amazing, amazing group of dogs, and I can't thank them enough. So Basin and Sound, Krypton, Yukon, Heath, Bato, Chica Cat, Carbon Copper, Brayburn, Merc were all my finishers, and Chulo and Rosie who were there as long as they could make it. This sport is all about the dogs, and these guys, I love these guys more than anything in the world, and like we always say, the sport's all about the dogs, and yeah, hats off to my dog team this year. So thanks a lot to everybody. Sorry for making it so long, but lots of people to thank. So thank you very much, and have a good night.
The first special award that we'll have for the evening is the Dawson City Award. This award goes to the first musher to arrive in Dawson City and go on to finish the race. The Dawson City Award commemorates getting to the Klondike and completing the journey home. And if Michael Peterson, the president of the Yukon board, would like to come up and present this.
Thank you, Doug. I know, the Canadian again, eh? But this one, this really especially is absolutely not about me. This is about three really, really important people. Wendy and Joe Fellers from Dawson City. Wendy was one of the original organizers of the Yukon Quest in 1984. And Wendy and Joe have been donating 4 ounces of gold every year since 1984 for this race. The first musher into Dawson City who completes the race goes away with that gold. And Marty and I were just doing a real quick calculation earlier. 32 years, 4 ounces of gold, that's about 130 some odd ounces of gold. That's just about 8 pounds of gold that Wendy and Joe have donated to this organization over all those years. So it's really important to recognize Wendy and Joe. Those are the first two people, and also Joe is quite sick at the moment, so we really appreciate their support over all these years. And then the third person who's important with regard to this award is the first musher into Dawson City. And so I'd like to call Brent Sass to the stage. And Brent will receive the 4 ounces of gold. So Brent, on behalf of the Yukon Quest.
Thank you very much.
There you go. 4 ounces of gold. Thank you.
All right, I'd like to thank, obviously, the Fellers for this awesome donation to the Yukon Quest. But right now, I want to bring up my handlers that I was just talking about over there, Tim, Elena, and Nora. If you guys could all come up here for a little bit. I asked the Quest to separate this out into 3 or 4 different ounces because each one of these guys definitely deserve an ounce of gold for all that they've done for me this season. So, Nora, here we go. There we go. Another big round of applause for these guys, the best handlers anyone could ask for.
All right, the next award we have is the Rookie of the Year award. This award goes to the highest placing rookie musher, which this year was Damon Tedford. Thanks, so. Glad to grab it.
Again, it's been a great go. Thanks so much for this award. It really does mean a lot to me. Yeah, it's just been, I can't even put words to it. Thank you very much.
All right, this next award is the Challenge of the North Award. I like it because it's selected by myself and my team of judges. This is the 7th year I've had the privilege of participating in the choice of this award. And it's amazing every year. We'll talk about maybe 1 or 2 people, but it quickly becomes unanimous amongst all of us, and there's never any question that we feel we've made the correct decision. And it was the same this year. It was about a 5-minute conversation. The Challenge of the North Award is presented to the musher who best exemplifies the spirit of the Yukon quest, a spirit that compels one to challenge the country and win. And again, it's selected by the team of officials. The musher that's receiving this award tonight, I think, has won about every other award this organization and this race has to offer. And we saw a bit of his attitude earlier, and it just exemplifies the attitude that he showed us the entire race. Positive, upbeat, happy, and having way too much fun. So, Lance, Mackie, where is he? Whether, we'll get him here in a minute, whether he's racing as an elite 4-time champion or, back in the pack with the rest of the mere mortals, he extremely is deserving of this award tonight, I believe. So where is he? He's in the bathroom? Okay. Well, we'll get Lance up here in a minute. I should have looked around, I suppose, before I started. Somebody go check the bathroom.
Sell more tickets.
You coming?
Hey, Lance, flush already.
Hey, Lance, I apologize. I should have looked over to see if you were here or not. We just said some really nice things about you. But congratulations, you're the recipient of the Challenge of the North Award.
You're shitting me. Thank you.
So there you go.
Challenge of the North Award. Holy shit. That's the coolest logo ever, huh? Wow, I've heard of this award. I mean, wow, holy shit. The first thing that comes to mind is when I got to the finish line and they put me up there on the little pile of pallets. And they, they asked me a series of questions, and Marty said, "Yeah, I heard you had some medical issues at the start." I said, "Well, they didn't go away out there. They're still here, I got some fingers that don't cooperate with the rest of my body, and probably aren't real fond of the things I choose to do, but." I'm the only person out there carrying a 10-pound generator and solar panels to charge the batteries from my heated gloves, And believe me, 10 pounds isn't nothing when it comes to warm hands. But, I love this sport. I love this race, and I love the people in it. And more importantly, I love the lifestyle. And I'm going to do everything in my power to stay in it as long as possible. And, I got a few issues, no doubt about it. Some that doctors are still trying to figure out, but I do what I do for the love of the sport, and I sacrifice a little personal comfort, no doubt, and I guess if that's the reason that I received this, I'm ecstatic, and I thank everybody for being involved and a part of that, and wow. I don't know what to say, but thank you all very much. But I ramble on a lot and I talk a lot of shit sometimes. But one thing that I forgot to do is mention some good friends of mine earlier, and that's Art and Nancy Cross over here. And Nancy's been not only a friend and basically a family member. She says she has adopted me, but let's make that official. She's a doctor, you know. She's a pain management doctor on top of it, and you know, she's one that keeps me going. And you know, heated gloves. Yeah, it's not the coolest thing out there, but it helps me get along. And I thank you for being there, and I thank you for being a friend and a family member and a supporter, not only of mine, but the Yukon Quest. And God damn, this is the coolest shit. Thank you very much.
And the next award we have is the Sportsmanship Award, and that's selected by the racers themselves. So I'd like to ask Brent to come up and make that award.
All right, well, I'm glad I can come up here and give this award out. I think it's one of the most special awards in the race. I think the Yukon Quest is all about sportsmanship and all about our camaraderie out there on the trail, and it's the one guy that I forgot to thank during my whole speech. So because he's had a huge part of my career and has helped me so much, and I know he helped a lot of people out on the trail. On this race, especially Kristen over there. She got to travel with Lance a lot this year, and Lance has been a huge part of getting me to where I am. He's been a mentor of mine ever since the beginning. He got me started with some really good dogs that I could breed with Silver, and yeah, Lance, you exemplify sportsmanship. So why don't you come back up here and get this Sportsmanship Award.
No shit, right? You know, I'm pretty sure everybody in this field deserves that award, and you know, I took a little bit of a different approach this year, and I think a lot of people were unexpected that of me, and you know, again, I had a different approach right from the get-go. I had a young dog team. A lot of my dogs turned 2 years old during this race, and all I wanted to do is have fun. I haven't really had fun for the last several years, and that's the whole reason I started this sport and entered this race, to have fun, enjoy the scenery and the people, and the, you know, God damn. That time of my life, it was really cool to be able to travel with people like Ryan and Kristen, and unfortunately not the rest of you guys, but I got a beautiful group of 2-year-olds to the finish line. Now I got some veteran dogs that might be able to come back next year and race, and you know, it was something, like I said before. I hope everybody in this sport gets to experience from at least one time, you know, just go enjoy the trail and the people and the checkpoints and the food. Oh, the food's incredible. And again, I think everybody deserves this award, and I'm sorry I didn't get to hang out with a lot of you, but thank you all. The competition is fierce, but enjoy the moment, enjoy your dogs and the trail and the people, and that's what I did this year, and I'll never forget it. And you know, I might not ever run another race. I might run 100 more, but this is the one that means the most to me. It's the one I had the most fun on, and it was the first time I had a bonding experience with my team as a group of 2-year-olds. I've had 2-year-olds and young dogs in my team before, but not a whole team. I left the starting line with 1 veteran dog and 13 dogs under 2 years old. And it was like driving a whole bunch of grade schoolers, you know. And I'm not a real good coach sometimes, so I act like a grade schooler myself most of the time, and that's probably got me more attention than winning these races. But holy shit. Yeah, you guys are awesome. Thank you, competition, and congratulations to everybody. Thank you.
Okay, the next award we have tonight is the Veterinarian's Choice Award, and that will be given by Dr. Nina Hansen.
Right. Thank you again for all being here. And the Veterinarian's Choice Award is presented to the musher that best demonstrates outstanding dog care while remaining competitive during the race. This award is a legacy for inspiring mushers to emulate the humane care of their team and is selected by the race veterinarians. It was overwhelming majority of veterinarians who voted for the musher receiving this award today. He finished very, very well with a large dog team who looked like they could have turned around and run right back to Whitehorse. And this year, the Veterinarian's Choice Award goes to Brent Sass.
Wow, this means way more than winning. It's all about the dogs, you know, and there aren't any words. Thanks you very much to the vet crew. You guys were, especially Nina. It was really fun we were in the front of the pack, and she was there every time answering questions and just reassuring me that I was doing a good job with my dogs, and that means a lot to me. And you know, I have to thank a couple people that have really put this to the forefront of the focus of dogs. Obviously, everyone knows that dog mushing is all about the dogs and all about your dog care, but I've got 2 friends that exemplify, and they've won this award multiple times. I've got exemplified dog care, and Mike and Sue Ellis, you guys, yeah, big round of applause to them, because Mike and I and Sue have become super good friends over the last, 5 years, and they've motivated me to take my dog care to a higher level, and I really, really appreciate that. And he just did little things. They were handlers. Mike was a handler for me one year in a misfortune that he had on the race, and he just really motivated me to really focus on dog care. And I think we all need to do that, and it's what gets these dogs across the finish line and in the happy, healthy way that they are. So big hands off to Mike and Sue for being my inspiration. Thank you so much.
The next award is the Golden Harness Award. This goes to the 2 dogs selected by the champion, Brent, obviously, and presented in honor of the loyalty, endurance, and perseverance of the champion lead dogs throughout the race. This year's award and custom-made golden harnesses are sponsored by Taiga, Alaska. So, Brent, if you want to introduce the 2 dogs that are going to be brought in.
These guys are Basin and Sound, and two of the best dogs that any musher could ever. Look at them. They're like the happiest beings on the planet. Basin led all but 25 miles of the race, and at one point we were camped. Hi, Sound. How are you? I know. You want to come say hi? You want to talk? What do you got to say? These guys are amazing. But at one point, just a story about Basin. I put them back. We were camped on the 40 Mile River, And I just said, oh, you just need a little bit of a break, Basin. You've been up there the whole race, and I'm just going to put you in swing and let you travel there. And I put him in swing, and the whole time he was just like driving as hard as he possibly could all the way to the 40-mile bridge, and was just extremely, I don't know, kind of looked at me like that was a downgrade that I put him in swing. So I put him back up there, and he led the whole rest of the way. So Basin, this monster 68-pound dog, led me to the finish line. And Sound is an amazing dog too, and she led a majority of the race. She led almost the whole race last year until our little incident. So these guys are just amazing dogs and inspire me to be better every single day. Yeah, you couldn't ask for better best friends in the world. These two are absolutely amazing sled dogs, and got lots of life in them. They're both, Sound is 5 and Basin's just 4 years old, so they got lots left. Can I get some steaks, huh?
There you go. You want to feed us some steak? All right, the final special award we have tonight is our Red Lantern Award, and that is presented to our final finisher. And tonight that would be Rob Cook. And this award is sponsored by the White Pass and Yukon route. There's a little tip over
there. There are a few really ignorant people in the sport who've developed this phrase called Slowberians. And it's a phrase which annoys a few people. We always aspire to people like Mike Ellis, Mike and Sue, who've done a lot to prove that there's no such thing as a Slowberian. And a few years ago, I set out and I said that I would never, ever again come last in a race. So when I pulled into Earl and Sandy's cabin on 40 Mile, it was actually quite a treat when Sandy turned around to me and said, you know what, Lance Mackey's going to beat you to the Red Lantern. So I pulled into Eagle about a day later, and the guys in Eagle said, you know what, Lance Mackey's going to beat you to the Red Lantern. He's determined that he's going to beat you. He's won everything else in the sport, but he's never, ever won the Red Lantern. So I pulled into Slavens, and I was told in Slavens, you know what, Lance Mackey's going to beat you to the Red Lantern. And I thought, this is fantastic. I'm going to keep this dream that we're not going to come last in a race again. I pulled into Circle, Lance Mackey's going to beat you to the Red Lantern. Central, Lance Mackey's going to beat you to the Red Lantern. By 101, I'd actually stopped believing this. So when I got into Two Rivers and Lance was already across the finish line, I realized that I was actually going to be the Red Lantern. So I suppose I should have been disappointed that my dream of never ever coming last in a race again was not going to be realised. But this is actually the Yukon Quest, so really I don't mind being the Red Lantern. So thanks very much. It's been an amazing race, and I'm quite happy to be the Red Lantern. Thank you.
Okay. Well, that's all of the special awards, and I'll turn it back over to our MC. But before I step down, I do want to wish everyone the best of luck in the Iditarod. Here in the next week and a half, all of our competitors are going to be going over and being challenged by that race in one way or another, I'm very sure. So good luck, everyone, and Godspeed.